There's this saying, what's done in the dark will come to light. And apparently that day is today. You see, after the death of Charlie Kirk, it seems as though there was one person in particular who actually wanted to talk about him as their friend. There was one person in particular who wanted to find out and still wants to find out what happened to their friend. And what I found very weird, and I told you guys this before, it's just kind of strange to me that even Erica Kirk doesn't seem to be as invested or involved to find out what the hell happened to her husband. She seemed to have just picked up the mantle, just moved on. Like, whoopity-doo. Very strange. So Candace basically started this own and like investigative series where she's trying to get to the bottom of what really happened, what went on behind the scenes, who's involved. There was a Gray Zone article that dropped that we covered on the show that went into some specifics about the fact that there was something happening behind the scenes in regards to Israel and Charlie Kirk and how he wanted to be able to openly criticize Israel. There was issues with the donors pulling out money, etc. So there were many times where what was in that Gray Zone article and what Candace said on her show, these things aligned so well. But the problem that then came was, of course, some of the pundits at Turning Points USA and others, conservatives that did not want to believe this rhetoric. They pushed back and said that Candace was lying. They said that she's just full of conspiracy. They said that the letter that was released by Benjamin Netanyahu, supposedly by Benjamin Netanyahu, shows that Charlie was definitely pro-Israel and he was not looking to move in a different direction. But now, Candace has dropped some receipts, screenshots of a group chat that apparently she was not a part of because they were talking about her in the group chat, which paint a different story. And actually shows that Candace was telling the truth. And we have confirmation as of today that Andrew Colvett, who was friends with Charlie and also is somehow taking over his show. Anybody talking about that? And a part of Turning Point USA is now confirming that the group chat that Candace shared is indeed authentic. So for the people who came after Candace and said that she was lying, and some of them did it on purpose and they knew that she wasn't, but for those who didn't know, they kind of owe her an apology at this point. But many of them are in on it. Let's go ahead and get into this clip here.
Communications that I had with him. And now I felt like suddenly so many people were racing to establish that his legacy was anything but Catholic, right? Like he was super de-duper Judeo-Christian. And ironically, it was Judeo-Christianity that I was challenging him on personally, like privately. And I was speaking to him about the political pressures of it, the way that I felt because of last year, that it registered to me like more of a cult than a true theology or a religion or a religious aspect rather. And it was back in February of this year when out of nowhere, he's the one that actually messaged me and said, and said Catholicism is sounding better and better in February of 2024. This is kind of when we started having that discussion. We should chat soon. Catholicism is looking better and better. Okay. I then offered back to him a chart just showing how the phrase Judeo-Christianity kind of is really associated with the dawn of the nation of Israel, right?
So even this image, when Candace was talking about this in February, you know, a lot of these people that are part of Turning Point US, they were all saying she was a liar, that this wasn't real. These images were fake. Remember all of this? Okay.
And we did chat about it. We talked about it a lot. And I was thrilled, like I said, and I was being honest that he was attending mass. Okay. But I want to again state that Charlie was not attending Rob McCoy's church. He was attending mass. So it registered to me again as somewhat disingenuous when Pastor Rob McCoy came out and effectively asked me to, stop looking into all of the things that had happened in the lead up to Charlie Kirk's assassination, or at least asking me to pause it rather would be more fair of an interpretation until the memorial, right? I'm going to jog your memory here. Here is what Pastor Rob McCoy wrote on his Instagram after I exposed the now infamous Hamptons meeting, which took place. He wrote this: Charlie Kirk was my friend and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, although he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comment I offer regarding Candace is this: I only wish that at this tragic time of mourning, she would be the friend to Charlie that he was to her. He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers.
So this is coming from the pastor, Rob McCoy. So this was Charlie Kirk's pastor.
All friend, loves at all times, Proverbs. Now, I want to be very clear. If Charlie was a friend of mine, I sure hope if I was assassinated in front of the world that he would raise hell to figure out what actually took place on that day. That's not being a friend. A friend is not someone who stays silent when lies are being told by the federal government. That's not a friend. Again, emotionally manipulative. The family can't have you finding out who actually killed him. The family can't have you looking into those things of who was pressuring him behind the scenes. That's not good for the family. It bothers me. I have to be honest with you. That bothers me. I don't even like that, to the untrained eye, he's kind of representing himself or representing Charlie as like a current congregant of his church. I feel like a lot this year I have been feeling as though these pastors are just not as honest as they should be, right? Is that the vibe? Like, a lot of pastors are not really so concerned with the truth, is what I would say. So we should zero in here on Rob and what his motivations might be, right? Why did he decide to post this after I revealed that Hamptons meeting? Well, you should know, I think most people do, that both his son and his daughter-in-law work for Turning Point USA. So whether you want to represent that or not, they have a financial stake in the future of the company.
How many people knew that? How many people knew that they also, that the rabbi, but let's go back a little bit. Sorry.
So whether you want to represent that or not, they have a financial stake in the future of the company. He heads up the faith division. So Charlie's faith and what direction it was going into would actually matter, right? It would actually matter if Charlie.
So you have the pastor also who has a stake in Turning Point USA. Look, I don't know what kind of organization this is, but I've said to myself, like, this is a tangled web that Turning Point USA has weaved. Like, I really didn't know that this organization went that deep and that far. I really didn't. I just knew that was something that Charlie Kirk was a part of. At one point, Candace was a part of that as well, too. But all of the webs that they have weaved here, like to the donors that were attached to all this, like billionaire donors, like the investors, like the pastors and everything, Israel. Like, this is just crazy how an organization was just so intertwined, not just in politics, but also in foreign policy. So it's a lot bigger than I thought it was. I knew it was big, but I mean, it's international. It goes further than that. Let's continue on here.
Charlie, and I never said he was going to, decided one day to become Catholic. It would have financial implications. I want to be clear, I never had a conversation that Charlie was in the process of converting, okay? But Rob in particular knew for an absolute fact that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him. That's what bothers me so much about this man. Him allowing these headlines, Charlie's pastor speaks out, crushes Candace because of what she said, not whatever. I don't like it. He knew, and others knew, that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing.
Let me pause here for a second. Some people have pushed back and they said, why not just release all the names now? People were like, 'cause she does release some of the names, obviously Rob McCoy, and we'll get into another one here in just a second. Why didn't she just release all of those names? I think it's more strategic not to do it that way, because if you release all of the names at once, then all of these people can kind of collaborate together and try to fight back collectively, one big bang, you know. Also, it keeps people coming back for more. It really does. If you drop all the names now, it's like, oh, okay, I already know all the names. But if you release a different name each week, then it keeps people coming back for more. So we'll put those two things together there. So strategically, I think that actually is the right thing to do, not to drop all the names at once, right? Let's go on.
Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause.
Okay. So if we all can read this together, this is coming from Charlie Kirk. Just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. And someone responded to him and said, ugh. So what this means is this: when Candace Owens said that Charlie wanted to bring her back, that he wanted her to come back, that was true. And this is the thing that gets me. I think sometimes people can't separate the two. You don't have to like Candace Owens. I disagree with Candace on many things. Most things. I agree with her on Israel. I agree with her with trying to get to the truth and uncovering what the establishment is doing. I agree with her on that. I don't agree with her on anything else politically at all. But this right here, for the people who said that she was lying, who said that it was just a conspiracy, who said, you know, she's making all these things up, where are all these people now? Where is Officer Tatum? Where's Nick Fuentes? Where's all the people? Ben Shapiro? Ben? Where are all the people who said, so that was correct? When she said that he wanted to bring her back, she was telling the truth. Now, some of you may be wondering, well, how do you know that the screenshot is real? We'll get to that in just a second because someone already confirmed it. Then you get to this part here. Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. This is, again, coming from Charlie Kirk. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Isn't that what Candace Owens said from the get-go? Didn't she say that he wanted to leave? He was moving away from that. And now you have a screenshot that says he wanted to leave the pro-Israel cause. So this is one of those moments where I think some of the podcasters, some people need to learn how to swallow their pride. It's okay to say that you were wrong. But people like Officer Tatum and some of the other ones, they doubled down and they said, Candace doesn't know what she's talking about. She's lying. She's conspiracy and all these types of things. She was actually right. Where is their correction video? Are they going to issue a retraction? Well, no. Officer Tatum had Benjamin Netanyahu on his show where he sat right there and said, I was only spit on once. This is the tangled web, guys. This is what we said. What is done in the dark will come to the light. It goes on to say this.
And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit and he did not back down. Not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about. nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay? So what are we to make of that? Okay, now that I'm showing you this and showing to you that the conversations were real, I want you to reflect, and it took me a lot of patience to allow the lies that were being woven and the misrepresentations of people that were pretending that I was just, high on lying about Charlie and the pressure he was under, the attacks that not just me, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly faced for trying to stand up and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually going through. Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got people that are hosting a show. Have they, in like one honorable thing, come out and said, like, you know what? F a couple of these donors who made his life a living hell in the last couple of weeks. Why haven't they done that?
So I'm just going to say this. This is very embarrassing for the people, the Josh Hammer, which I'll tell you something else about him in just a second. This is very embarrassing. Josh Hammer was one of the people that said that she was lying, came out and said she was conspiratorial. But according to Candace Owens, he was a part of that group chat. Let me tell you a little something about group chats. Can I? Okay. Group chats, you have to be very careful with. It's one of the reasons why I really do not like these Twitter group DMs. I hate it that I can't prevent someone from adding me to a Twitter DM group. I absolutely despise being added to a Twitter DM group. I have no say so in that. People just do it. And I'm like, how you know we all get along? You know, just this stupid stuff. Like, how do you know we want to be in the same group with these people? The reason why is because in the past, there are people who have been known to take screenshots of group chats and either hold on to them until they can use them at their disposal at some point in time. I've seen these things happen in real life, behind the scenes. What these group texts show you is that everything does not happen on camera. In fact, most of the conversations that I have happen off camera. That's how it is for most of us. But the group chats is where they really get you, because you say things in there because you're thinking everybody in that group chat is on all one accord. But at any point in time, there can be a conflict that develops between 1 or 2 people that are a part of that group text. And then all of a sudden they may decide, I just want to drop some screenshots, some things you guys said about me. That's why group chats, you got to be careful with those. Don't say anything in a group chat that you don't want other people to know. I don't give a damn who it is. I don't care who you think you're talking to, okay? Just don't do it. But Candace obviously was not a part of that group chat, because if she was, they wouldn't have been speaking badly about her. So that means there's a mole. Oh, there's a mole. We might have to bring in the pressure, because there is a mole.
Let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever.
A moment can live on forever. There's a mole. And that's another thing about group chats.
There's also a rabbi in that chat. Like, why hasn't anybody made that move to at least say, to vindicate what I have been saying about what he was going through? That registers to me as very suspicious. I'm going to frankly say that it's suspicious to me. It makes me think that in the same way that Charlie was being pressured by money, that you might be now run by that same money, that those same donors might be running you to correct the ship and to focus yourselves on eulogizing Charlie as something and someone that never once flinched, never once for a single second doubted the Israeli cause. Now they want us to suddenly believe the best way to honor Charlie is to shut up. The exact opposite of what he quite literally laid down his life doing. Answering questions.
Don't you guys just think it's strange that like Erica isn't asking these questions? Who else was in that group chat? I think we need to look at that, right? Like apparently she wants to reveal a name as time goes by, but I got something else to show you. The moment this news broke, people were already on social media that said, "Ha, it's not even real. You don't think that's real, do you? It's fake." All the Zios were like, "That's not a real group chat." And then someone confirmed that it was. Someone like Andrew Colvin. Shout out to Village Crazy Lady is on it. Shout out to Mel. Colvin confirms the texts are real. Check this out.
Started this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there.
So he's like X-Files now. He's excited that the truth is out there. Right. Okay. When this video was released, the same trolls and Zios said that video's not real. It's AI. I kid you not. It's not real. Why is it clipped that way? So for the trolls, that video came from this live stream. Village Lady clipped it to show people that part. In fact, I'll show you myself here where it starts. He starts at the very beginning with that message. Also, is it just me? Does anybody think it's a little bit strange how this guy has just managed to take over a Charlie Kirk show? I mean, it's like people have just moved on like nothing happened. It's just weird to me. It is weird. It's strange. When my friend died, I was sad. I was sad. And I was not ready to go do no show, go speak to nobody, have no group conversations. Definitely didn't want to be in front of a camera. When my friend died, I was sad. All of this is weird to me. So this is where that clip is from, the live stream here.
To address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange. And
he is glad that the truth is out there, but he didn't share it publicly because it was a private exchange. But that group text confirmed what Candace said. And your Turning Point USA peeps said she was a liar. And you knew she was telling the truth. Stabbed in the front. These are the kind of things I like to point out, okay? Now, he said it was private. He didn't want that out there. Wait till you hear the next part. It gets better.
And I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So
this is not looking good for you, Andrew. Andrew, this is not looking good for you, buddy. It was private moment, didn't feel it needed to be out there, but you shared it with some people in government. Who did you share it with in government? Who? And apparently it wasn't safe in the hands of government either, if it also made its way to Candace. Who passed it on? there's a mole. So we got out there anyway. So when he says, I'm glad that's out there for everybody to see. No, he's not. He's not glad it's out there because it shows they were lying. It shows that they were liars. You're not glad it's out there. This guy did an interview recently on another podcast. And what was in that text, he didn't mention on the podcast. He said, well, Charlie wanted to be able to, have criticism, but he was definitely pro-Israel. What did the text say? That he was leaving the pro-Israel movement. Did Andrew Kovitz say that? No. I feel like this is just crazy. Here's the thing. I don't even like Charlie Kirk. I didn't like Charlie Kirk's show. I appreciated the fact that he was willing to have conversations with different people, have debates. I appreciated that. But politically, I had nothing in common with Charlie Kirk. Never met Charlie, never talked to Charlie. Not my person, ever. And as someone on the left, even I can sit back and be like, this is suspicious. And what kills me is you have people who are part of the same political party as Charlie Kirk, and they don't think it's suspicious. And that is just weird to me. That's when I have to ask, what is really going on? So he did confirm that it is authentic. Like I said, some people got to pass some apologies to Candace Owens. I'm not one of them. Because I said, let's wait and see what happens. But more importantly, this is interesting as well. OTC Mom, Andrew Kovitz admitting the texts are real means that he knew Candace and Charlie were still close when Eric Bowling said they weren't. Those texts showed Charlie wasn't cutting ties. He was actually going to double down and invite Candace. Andrew had proof and stayed silent. Yes, he did. Andrew, this is what I'm saying, stabbed in the front. In the front. All of these guys that Candace used to at one point be cool with, whether it was Ben Shapiro, Andrew Kovitz, what's that other guy's name? I can't remember the other guy. Oh, Matt Walsh. Yeah, all of them. All these guys that used to be cool with Candace until she, turned on Israel and called out the genocide and all those types of things. All these guys, and I said it a long time ago, that she was being used. And Andrew Kovitz, this right here with Andrew Kovitz is a perfect example. Andrew knew she was telling the truth, but he wasn't going to tell people she was telling the truth. He knew she was telling the truth, but he didn't want to come to her defense. He sat there and let people lie right in front of him and didn't correct them. They were all in on it. See how people turn? Now, here's another interesting part. Max Blumenthal came in here and said, I reported that a small group of Israel lobbyists, including Josh Hammer, Bill Ackman, and Sean McGuire, and Pasach Walicki were in a chat with Charlie Kirk during his last days. Was Ackman in this explosive chat revealed here by Candace Owens? And if so, why is he covering this up? So this is just a reminder. Josh Hammer. Let's see if Josh Hammer has said anything since recent. This guy. The first thing you see when you look on his Twitter, Israel and civilization. So guys, people are playing roles. People are playing roles and they're getting paid to play a freaking role. This is why it is so important to remain independent for anyone who ever thinks about getting into the space. I'm glad I remain independent. I'm glad I don't have a sponsorship or any of these things. This is what I'm saying. These people are paid to play a role. Let's see if he said, of course, pushing his book. Charlie Kirk's support for Israel, concerns and legacy, retweeting something there. I mean, it's just, yeah, man. This guy, Josh Hammer. What are they all going to say now? I mean, it reminds me, I was listening to this earlier today. There's this country song, the Trouble song. It's an older song. And that's what I thought about earlier today. I said, I smell TROUBLE. I said, hey, the Trouble song. You ever heard the song? I said, hey. I said, hey. I said, hey. I said, hey. Yeah, that song. I smell TROUBLE. Something is not right. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. And I told you guys a while back, this story from day one never made any sense to me. You got people moving things from a crime scene, fingerprints going all over the place, and you don't have to be a detective to know that. I mean, it's just weird. Tyler Robinson, the kid that they arrested, you see him getting off the roof with no gun. And they say he could disassemble it and then put it back together in the woods while he's on the run. Then you find out that type of weapon can't even be disassembled like that. What is going on? Now we see that Candace was correct. We see that that group chat there was authentic because Andrew Colvin just confirmed it was real. Now, all these people have egg on their faces. The problem here is, I think a lot of us trying to get to, what are they trying to cover up, right? I think at our heart of hearts, we kind of know like what this is really about. But the problem here is not being transparent. They have not been transparent with this case since day one. That starts with the FBI. And then Turning Point USA has also not been transparent. So they're pointing fingers at other people, calling them conspiracy or whatever, that type of thing. You cannot blame people for going down different rabbit holes when y'all motherfuckers been lying. And now it's all out in the open. And I'm thinking like it probably didn't even have to be this way. But they came after her and started calling her a liar. So then it's like, okay, I'll drop some receipts. Crazy times, folks. What is done in the dark will come to light. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.